Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'ashim Bukakutash, and double honor to the Apostle of GMS, and to the bishops, the elders, and all the sincere brethren that are laboring the truth across the world, and to all the sincere brethren and sisters that are listening to the truth. And I pray this may be another edifying lessons to the flocks, and whether the Most High want to this message and let it be heard. And before I begin the lesson, I will introduce the true name of the Father, which is Yahweh, and the names mean He exists. And the true name of the Son is Yahushua HaMashiach, which means the Redeemer or the Deliverer, and is only coming to redeem His people, which is the nation of Israel. In today's age, you would identify them as the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans, which scatter on all four corners of the world and looks like the other nations, and also practice the custom of the other nations. And with that, that'll be it for the introduction. And however, the title of the lesson for the day is basically, This Is It. That'll be the title of the lesson. It could be This Is It or One Step Closer to the You Know What, which is the MOTB. Because yesterday, or a couple days ago, Esau just declared, let me just show you a TikTok video. And before I begin the lesson, I would say fair use. This is for educational purpose, not for monetary purpose. And the title is YouTube. Really? Let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second.
Exactly. If you smoke bud, you need to hear this. They're saying that small trip.
Give me 1 second. Once again, before I begin the lesson, I would say fair use. This is for educational purpose, not for monetary reason. And it's gonna start right now. So basically, the title is YouTube.
So YouTube is now
and Spotify want your ID for age verifications. So I'm gonna start the video right now.
Asking everybody to upload their driver's license to make sure that there's an age verification. Spotify is doing the same. Now, think about this for a second. They want you silenced. They just knock on your door. They don't even have to look you up. They already have all your information. They want to do it to protect the children. Like, share, and repost this as many times as you can. Share with your friends. This is ridiculous. It's in the Constitution. We have the freedom of speech. I understand that there's a child video problem. Get rid of it. You guys haven't gotten rid of it yet. When are you going to start getting rid of it? The whole internet's supposedly full of it if you just look for it. But you want my driver's license? Come on. This is out of control. This is like the book 1984. This is crazy. What are you guys thinking? How are we going to stop this? I mean, so YouTube is now asking everybody to upload
so that was the video. Let me see if there's another one. Because there was a jig that was talking. I just saw it earlier too before I start that video. Let me just type it real quick. YouTube. Okay, right over there.
Mark my words, we're about to watch our freedom of speech go down the drain.
Once again, fair use.
This
is for educational purpose, not for monetary purpose. Yes?
Upload your identification for age verification. So they're basically saying if the AI feels that you are younger than the appropriate age, they'll ask you to upload your identification. And they're going to do the same thing with Spotify, but then it's going to start to roll over to other apps. Right now in other countries, they're doing the same exact thing. But this is where it gets wicked, right? See, we've learned that when they tell you one thing, they're planning something else behind it. And imagine this. You upload your identification. There's a breach. Well, at least they say there's a breach. And they try to put it off on data hackers because that's what they will say, but that will be a lie. They will basically be monitoring everything that you do on these apps, on these platforms. And if you say the wrong thing, they'll silence you. Think about how China is on a point system. If you do the wrong thing, you might not even be able to spend your own money. And that shit gets deep in itself. Because you might voice your opinion on a topic on social media and they might feel it's wrong. And this rabbit hole gets very, very deep. Think about this. YouTube is one of the biggest search engines on the planet right now. Think about what they can do if they have your actual identification, face, place, everything. See, that's going over a lot of people's heads. It's going to cause a lot of problems. Mind you, YouTube has been here forever. Why would they start asking for identification now? This is bigger than children just getting on the internet. The voice you have could cause a lot of problems once they have access to all of that information. Trust me. Or don't. I'm out. Mark my words. We're about to watch our freedom of...
So basically, all those the days of people having like 100 accounts and having like a avatar, you call yourself this name and that day, that name. Those days are basically over. Cause like that brother already said, he's already have all of us informations anyway. Now they just can be like, okay, this is the exact person that do this and that. Now we can shut that person up for good. Like as I'm making that video, he's already know who I am, where I live, what I do for a living, what I do in my daily life. He still have all those informations. Like they can just, it's like when a police officer come and knock on the door of somebody that committed a crime. They already know that person committed the crime. They just want to find the evidence and proof. Now they got the proof. They be like, so and so did this and that. Now the guy that said earlier is like when you're gonna use a YouTube or, I mean the only reason they're gonna stop Spotify, most Spotify has podcasts, people voice their opinions, stuff like that. So now ESO can shut that for good. Like if you want to watch certain videos, you have to put your identification so and so can watch it. So now ESO have like a huge database, can pinpoint. It all comes down to narrow down who's gonna be doing this, who's gonna be doing that. And a lot in the beginning, a lot of people gonna fight it, but eventually they're gonna submit to it, man. Now ESO can be like, okay, we know exactly this specific group of people are watching or listening from this kind of stuff, and we got this group of people doing that, this and that. Eventually, it's all gonna come down to the so-called freedom of speech is already over. So ESO are gonna shut people down for good now. So let's just get some scriptures I should say. First one's going to be 2 Corinthians. So 2 Corinthians 2 verse 11, which says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So basically what ESO's doing right now, man, that's one of ESO's tricks. Because YouTube been active since I think maybe like 05, 06. Around that time I was like I was 10 years old, dude. Like, literally 2 decades ago. And all of a sudden YouTube need people identification. Don't get me wrong, in the early stage there was really no ID. I remember when I was very young, like YouTube used to be like any random people. So basically Jake used to make all sort of bug out funny videos. Even my cousin and I used to make funny videos, and there was nothing. There was no creating an account, no nothing. And all of a sudden it become monetized around 2013, 2014, 2015, and now game over. So ESO's using it as a way to initially to shut down the men of the Lord, basically, man. So it's a let's try to get an advantage over us, for we are not ignorant of his device. So basically we are familiar with ESO's tricks, man, all his devices. This is like one step closer, basically, to which gonna lead us to the famine of the world, which is Amos 8 and 11 to 12, basically, man. Wait, let me see. Amos. Let me see. Amos 8. Amos 8 verse. Yeah. So all this gonna lead to Esau shutting down the men of the Lord. Now they can justify that. Pretty soon, all those videos that we're making on the daily basis, man, or when we stand on highways and byways, in order to load it, they're gonna be like, what's your identification? Because you're gonna be, you're gonna put your government name, your date of birth, and they ask you for a driver's license. We already know what's gonna happen. So basically, Esau gonna tell you, okay, we're gonna this is what those guys call themselves on the highways and byways. Now we got the actual government name, and now Esau's gonna be like, okay, this is guy from that group, from this group. We're gonna shut it down. And Esau gonna be like, why should we post your videos online? Why should we be talking? Oh, we can just. Esau can say, yeah, all right, we got your identification number now. We can post your videos now. And you post it, just remove it. Or delete that video online. Or shadow ban that video. Well, they're already doing that, shadow ban that videos. Or even though you post that video, nobody can see it. It go to specific underground. The only person that can see it. I'm not gonna even say government officials, because even those government it's basically the elites that's controlling all those stuff anyway. So they're gonna pick and choose who to that watching it, and they can further study those lessons. And like I always say, it's like Esau have the background of every brothers that make the videos. Like Esau be like, this is the setting he normally use. Let's use the AI to mimic his voice and falsely accuse him when that time of persecution comes, man. Because we know that persecution is around the corner. It could be 3 months from now, a year from now. But the way things are moving right now, I don't see 2 5 years happening. That's me personally speaking as a man, because that persecution is on the go. Jacob's trouble can accelerate at any given moment. We already have the race war that's brewing. Jakes and Esau can no longer stand each other anymore, man. And we at the point like it's the Mossad that's holding us back so we don't strike this devil, and vice versa. And we know too they're gonna take some heavy damage on that side, man. However, the Mossad also gonna use him to do heavy damage on our enemies as well, man. But at the end of the day, the most important of our people is the hopeful elect, man, soon to be elect. And Lord willing, we are those elect that the Bible speaks of. So let me get let me see Amos 8 verse 11, which says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai," and he said, "All cap," which is none other than the Heavenly Father Yahweh. And he said, "Behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, that I will send a famine in the land." So there's gonna be the day that the Most High Yahweh Shemel Shai gonna send a famine in the land, and that famine is not famine of hunger. Let me say, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water. It's not gonna be like a famine of bread, which is food. There's gonna be food famine also, man, or thirst of water. Basically, it's not. There's gonna be that, but it's talking about a specific famine, which is famine. But famine, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. So it's gonna be a famine of the word, which means like August 13th, which is I believe is next Wednesday. And that famine, basically that famine the Bible's talking about, it basically is gonna be the word of the Lord is gonna be stripped of the highways. I mean, it's gonna be stripped of the web. Like we're gonna post those videos, they're gonna be like, you can't post that video. It falls under the hate groups, and you got a strike. Similar, I remember, I believe 2015. It could be 2016 to 2018 when I watched a documentary. It was a documentary that was running on YouTube and all. I think YouTube kind of probably shadow banned it, put it somewhere. If you type it, you probably see clips of it. Basically, it was a Big Brother program I was watching from China. Basically, people get credits if they basically it was the MOTB, which is what they gonna bring in Babylon the Great. At that time, I didn't even think it was gonna happen in Babylon the Great, or if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be 30, 40 years. That's when I used to be like that was before the Most High woke me up. Cause before, like I used to be those guys that always doing research, always know something is going on. Couldn't put my finger in it. And at that time, I wasn't thinking of Esau is a devil. I thought it was just everybody was on the same level. But once you come to the truth, you realize that devil is Esau Edom. So Moab have that Big Brother program. I forgot the name of that documentary. But the thing is, it's a social credit. Like people walking, if they jaywalking, they get fined, and they post their face on the billboard, say this and do this. That is kind of a punishment. Obviously, people smoke, they get like a less credit. Or if people don't comply to the rules, like men of the Lord, when they don't comply to Esau's rule, Esau give them red. It shame them. Like if they don't have that kind of credit, they cannot go to that specific locations, man, and create like a segregation, man. So that's what Babylon the Great is gonna be right now. So like when it says like a famine of that's coming, is gonna be the famine of the word. So very soon we weren't gonna be able to stand on the highways and byways teaching the words anymore, man, or posting those videos daily anymore. Yeah. So Esau gonna give hey, you can post that video for into a hate group, and Esau can use that to justify us and start most likely arresting brothers, man. Yeah, and then the next stage is gonna be like, oh, you can't stand on the highways and byways prophesying the truth anymore. This is hate group now. So Esau's gonna tell us not to go on the highways and byways anymore, man. Which means a lot of people gonna. That's when the people are gonna realize, oh shoot, those men were telling the truth all those 40 years. They're gonna realize all the elders, starting with the apostles. I'm just gonna start with the elders that was before the apostles. in the late 60s and 70s from Abba Bivin, King Marshall, Cypress Area, what's the other brother, man? All the elders, man, that go down to our current elders, the apostles and the bishops, and all the elders that teaching the truth on the highways and byways across the world, and also our brothers that's teaching daily, man. Then they realize, oh shoot, the scripture said, then the people are gonna realize there was a prophet among them. Like all those years that we've been prophesying on the highways and byways and on the web, they're gonna come to the realization, oh shoot, those guys are the true men of the Lord. Those guys were right. Those guys we were making fun of, calling them niggers, Latinos, or calling the guys that wearing a super Power Rangers suit. Like my sister saw camp last weekend, and my brother was running. I know those brothers. When immediately I was doing the job in that area too, and my brother's like, "Oh, yo, I was gonna go to the Mexican restaurant, and we saw that those guys were preaching on the next to the restaurant." And my sister was like, "Yeah, man, why those guys wearing the Dragon Ball Z why are those guys wearing Dragon Ball Z garment?" And I was like, I'm like, that's like a Jake's current mindset, man. Also we wearing Dragon Ball Z Powerball superhero outfit. So that's basically the mindset of our people, man. Pretty soon they're gonna realize those guys were legit men of the world, men of the Lord, basically, man. And they're gonna people, since they cannot see them online, so they're gonna be like, oh shoot, we used to see that person online, man. What's the name of that channel again? Cannot find. Did not find. You know when you try to find something, they say can't find. Website does not exist anymore. Channel does not exist anymore. They was, oh shoot, I know that guy used to be on Main Street. That guy used to stand next to Shaw's. That guy used to stand at the Boston Common. That guy used to preach at the train stations. Let me go find that person. And they'll be like, what day did that person used to go again? That's the mindset people are gonna be like. Well, they're gonna be basically, man. And they're gonna be like, oh shoot. They're gonna be like, oh shoot. Don't you have a brother that used to be preaching on the highways and byways? A cousin or an uncle? Does your dad used to speak like we are the Hebrew Israelite? By then it's gonna be too late. And we can also know, like, Esau most likely gonna use the MOTB to the Esau gonna use the medical system to release the MOTB. That's all I can see. I'm sure a lot of brothers can see it that way also. And yeah, it says, and they shall wander from sea to sea. Yeah, so people gonna be wandering, and from the north even to the east they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. I just, like I explained earlier, people gonna go from places to places. They're gonna search the web. They're gonna put every website, every channel. They're gonna put like every channel they could have think of, and not gonna find anything. Then they're gonna go from places to places, corners to corners. Like before I came to the truth, before I find the camp that I go to on a weekly basis, man, I used to go on. I went on a website typing any site, any city, any, because you know when we used to play basketball at the park, you know, there's like Hebrew Israelite camp at that time. You know, when you're in the world, you don't know Israelite camp. Every time you see camp, you couldn't differentiate them. You just say, oh, this is a black Hebrew Israelite camp right there. But IUIC used to come on the park. They used to be on the Legion Parkway. So what I used to do, I was like I told myself, look, since I cannot find those brothers online, I'm gonna go to every so at that time I say every black neighborhood I know, those camp, because you know back then you didn't know the name of the camps. I'm gonna go to every black neighborhood I know the camp used to be at. That's what I used to say. Like, so you're gonna be people doing the exact same thing. They will like, look, I'm gonna go to every neighborhood that we used to see them preaching, and then it's gonna be too late. Then when they cannot find what they're preaching, they're gonna be like, let me just ask this brother. I know he has a cousin that used to preach on the highways. I know his dad used to preach over there. Don't you have an uncle? And even your own family member that used to preach on the highway. They're gonna start running at your house and ask you, bro, well, did you say this wasn't gonna happen? Yeah, we finally believe you. But then it's gonna be too late now, man. Unless the Most High have mercy on them, man. They basically gonna be in deep shit. That's the truth. And excuse my French. And the next one I'm gonna read is basically Revelation 13 verse 16, which we all know what that scripture said. Because that's initially what's gonna lead to, basically, man. Revelation 13 verse 16, which says, um, 13 and 16, which says it says, and he, Rev 13 and 16, and he caused it all, both small and great. So basically, he's gonna cause everybody, like, both small and great, which means whatever status you are. If you are like a superstar, a movie stars, basketball player, football players, small and you're gonna take it, man. It's both small and great. If you're like a regular person, you're gonna take it. Rich and poor, like a wealthy people, man, like the so-called billionaires of the world. Rich and poor, the poor will be like the average poor regular citizen that's clocking 9 to 5. Because technically, those people are poor. They ain't making money. All your multi-million dollars, Jay-Z, LeBron James, they all gonna take the C hit, man. To receive, when it say free and bond, and what again, free and bond, free mean like a people like a regular citizen that's getting paid low paying paychecks, 30 to $50,000 a year, which could barely pay anything. And the bond people that's all in prison, like they're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna your sentence is 30 years, but if you take that CA, we reduce it to 10 years. We shave 10 years off or 15 years off. What do you think that person gonna do? They're gonna be like, words, even though they're gonna die anyway, they're just gonna take it because that's a option for them. That's less time point in the prison. And it said to receive a mark in the right hand, they're gonna receive a mark on the right hand because most people are right-handed, so they're gonna get the mark on the hand basically, or in the forehead. The people that get the forehead is gonna be like people that's like a quadriplegic, paralyzed. They're gonna need that kind of stuff where they can't really function. So basically, if you we saw those Tesla videos, man, people that's wheelchair bound, or people that's missing limb, people that have like a fatal car accident, or they can't function from neck down. So they're gonna get that thing in the brain, basically. They're gonna get that mark in the head, basically. So that's what the forehead represent. And that no man might buy or sell. Nobody gonna be able to buy or sell. You can't buy or sell if you don't have that MOTB. Because you can't use your cash anymore, man. Your credit card, your debit card, your PayPal, your Venmo. I know people be like, well, you should buy crypto. Look, you ain't gonna buy crypto, man. Even if you buy crypto, it's gonna be useless, man. Because it's gonna be one system. Either you have the MOTB or not. If you have the MOTB, you're gonna be able to function. If you don't have it, you ain't gonna function. Save he that had the mark. The scripture make it very clear. The only way you can be able to function if you have the mark. When I say function, I'm talking about the 2/3 of the rest of the heathens, because they ain't gonna be able to endure. Because like right now, if you tell the average person, I mean, I'm including 2/3 of our people to go fast, they ain't gonna fast. Because every few seconds they have to eat something, man. I remember one of the brothers or elders said last year, like a bodybuilder ain't gonna be able to function in the new system. They're gonna take that chip. They're gonna take that seed, man. Because if you know, I remember back when I was in high school, I was in wrestling team, man. I hated the wrestling team because they make you do the weight cut where you have to starve yourself. And I love to eat, man. I'm like, man, I always miss weight, man. Because the coach always have to make me do the extra exercise doing that before you go like on the match so you can shave some pounds. I'm like, that was me in high school. Now, take like an average bodybuilder or average like obese monster that's on those wheelchairs, that's on those special chairs. Or like no, even like average when you're in your plantation, you hear people like, oh man, I need to go out and buy something to eat. You just eat like a bag of chips. You just ate breakfast like an hour and a half ago though. Why do you need to eat something? Those people just are gonna take it. And also we also gonna have people that know the RFID chip is the MOTB. And guess what? They still gonna take it. You know why? Because they don't want to suffer. They don't want to catch hell. And some people even in the truth, so that call themselves so-called men of the Lord or women of the Lord, that they don't have that endurance when things were easy peasy. They were, yeah, I'm an Israelite, I'm a man of the Lord. But once shit hit the fan, all those scoffers, man, that always being a pest, always making fun. Also, all those women that's always scoffing on the website when the brothers prophesying the truth. When that day come, they're gonna realize, oh shit, those guys were right. And guess what? They're still gonna take it because they're not gonna want to suffer. So that's what the scripture was talking about, man. So So basically, if save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So basically, if you don't have the mark, you ain't gonna be able to function in this society, man. The only people that's gonna be able to function in this society is the hopeful, like, man, because the Most High gonna have mercy upon that, man. Like the Psalm 65 verse 13 say, "Behold, my servant shall eat; you shall be hungry. Behold, my servant should be thirsty. You should be behold, you should be thirsty, and my servant should be drinking." Something I don't want to misquote it, but you get the point. So only the men of the Lord, the hopeful, like that's gonna be able to live peacefully in those moments. That I won't be able to catch hell, man. Like if they're hungry, the Most High gonna take care of His people, man, which is the elect. Lord willing, we are part of the elect group, basically, man. Us sincere brethren that are prophesying the truth and highways and byways, and all those sincere brethren and sisters that listen to the truth, basically, man. And the other thing is, guess what? Even if you take the MOTB, you still might catch hell. You still might starve. Because Esau is wicked anyway. It might be like, okay, those guys got the MOTB. We wanted to get the population down to that 500,000, 500 million. All right, let's turn off those chips. Boom, just like that. So you're still gonna catch hell. Basically, if the Most High don't have mercy on you, you in deep trouble. So that's it for the lesson, man. So I pray that's another edifying lesson to the flocks. And whether the Most High want to do this message, let it be heard. And with that, I'd like to say, Shalom.